Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where women from every walk of life come together to break barriers, embrace their power, and live life on their own terms. I'm your host, Vicki McDougall, and each week we explore inspiring stories, actionable strategies, and empowering conversations to help you step into your confidence, amplify your voice, and create a life without limits. No matter where you are on your journey, this is your space to grow, thrive, and become unstoppable. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. And today's a little bit different because this isn't just this strange girl on the other end here. We actually met in person. And when I say strange, I mean like stranger, like just meeting online. We actually hugged in person. We met when I was on vacation, kind of like a little bit of a spiritual journey as well, with a friend of mine last year. And I got the pleasure of meeting Abby and her husband, and we just connected, and it was like, okay, we exchanged numbers. We're going to keep in touch. And we have. So that was last like November, December. And now we're here and we are creating this podcast together. And I am so happy to have you here, Abby.
I'm so excited too. And it is super exciting that we've actually in real life met and kind of got to know each other before this. So
It
that's very
really
cool.
is. Yes, it is. I agree. I so agree. So I would love you to just share a little bit about yourself with our viewers so that they can kind of, get a little bit of a history here about you and what brought you to where you are today.
Yes, of course. So yes, there's a lot of story. So I'll try to keep it compact. But yeah, I grew up in New Mexico. So it's we met in Florida. Neither one of us lived there and we were
No?
both on vacation. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'll just kind of head to where that journey was. But yeah, I grew up in New Mexico and then I was raised by both my mom and my dad. I had a brother, a pretty simple, basic childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then everybody goes through things and that's what develops you and
Yeah.
creates you.
Yeah.
And I ended up, pregnant at 18 with my oldest son. And so I never really found out who I was. Like the moment I became an adult, I became a mom. And that journey was just instant, right? And then he was only eight months old, but by the time my daughter was born, he was only 16 months old. So by the time I was 20, I had two babies
Oh
under
my
the age of
goodness.
2.
Wow.
So yeah. So motherhood came very fast and furious to me. I did go to college and do all the things while being a young mom and stuff. But it was not your traditional college. It was all online and
Yeah.
everything. So I missed a lot of, just those milestones that would have, just literally changed the trajectory of my life,
Yeah.
becoming a mom at such a young age. So I just, I did that. My husband was in the military, so we moved a lot. So I was a young mom on my own, living in places. We never lived anywhere longer than 18 months. Went through 2 deployments. So there was just a lot, right? Life was constantly changing.
Yeah. So that,
And
that
yeah.
itself, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that itself.
Oh no,
So
you're
you're a
fine.
mom and you have two children, very close in
Yeah.
age. So it's almost like having twins because really
Yeah.
they're right
Yeah.
there.
Literally.
And you're moving and you're uprooting the kids every about, a year to 18 months. And you're still a child yourself, really, because you're still a young woman.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was wild. So, all of that, all of that life was, a lot. And I ended up, getting divorced very young, 23. So another major milestone, changing life again. And at 23, that's when I moved to Amarillo. That's where my parents had moved after like my brother and I had graduated high school. My whole family's from like the Amarillo, Texas area. So I had grandparents, aunts, support system. So I found myself there. And within like 6 months of living there or less, gosh, it may have been somewhere for 4 to 6 months of living there and going through not a good divorce. Two small kids. I met my husband, who I'm married to now, just like so randomly. Like, there's no way to say it other than it was like meant to happen. Like,
Yes, it
God
was.
literally gave him to me in like the craziest point of my life when he knew that like we needed each other. He was going through a yucky divorce too. So he took a job that was out of town because he's like, I cannot live here around all of this. So he took a oil field job for traveling, and I moved to Amarillo for support. So neither one of us were from there. We met just super randomly, and it was like instant. And so at that point, at 23, even though I had already lived a lot of life and had a lot of challenges, we met and we just fit really well. And the support system that I really needed was there to really start healing through lots of things I had gone through and figuring out like who I was. And that was just really, really awesome. It all just aligned. And from there, we ended up in Florida, the Orlando, Florida area. We moved literally right behind Disney. That was where he was born and raised. So we went back there. It was magical. We were raising my two kiddos together. Life was good. Lots of healing and stuff was going on. And really, then we had two more kids. So now we have four kids. We've lived a lot of life. He's been my biggest support system and has allowed me to go through my journey of like healing and figuring out who I am. And whenever I don't know, by the time we had Keegan, he's our 10-year-old now. So he's 10 now. So 10 years ago, when I had him, I was like, I'm not working. I think I want to have a business. And we're like, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing like marketing and business stuff for women driven businesses, women owned businesses. So
Yeah.
that's where I got tied into like just supporting women, being there for women, hyping women up. And
I
I
love it.
loved it. I loved seeing everything that all these awesome women, like I just did not realize so many women were out there literally creating businesses and like living like in their power and like helping so many other people.
It's
And
so
I thought
true.
that was awesome.
It's so, so
Yeah.
true. And when you say that too, like your healing journey began, whether we understand it or not, but when when you have a child, you change, right? And then you're a
Yeah.
mom. And like you said earlier,
Mhm.
that mom is who you become. So
Yeah.
being a mom only, like not only, but you're a wife and a mom, but I mean, mom is who we become when we have children, especially at a young age.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
transition to meet someone like your husband, who is a sweetheart, really nice guy, um, to move again from the support system that you moved to have because you were alone, you were a single mom, but to meet someone that you were that uh, connected to and be able to move again to another area like of the country and go to Florida
Yeah.
and begin a life there. Like you did build a life together right from the word go. And you got to,
Yeah.
and him, and I don't like allowing, but him supporting you in figuring
Yep.
out what Abby needed
Yeah.
was, that's a beautiful story right there. Honestly.
Yeah. He
I, I,
he literally like gave me the permission I needed to give myself permission, right? Cuz like I feel like so many women, even though we don't like to like necessarily say because of somebody we were able to do something, right? Because it really is like within us and what we do and choices we make. Um Sometimes you can be so lost, broken, or not even know who you are that you do need someone to come in and give you some sense of permission to
Yes.
just know that you can then take it and go, and you can develop or like chase your dreams or anything. And then it puts it back into your hands. But yeah,
Yes.
sometimes you just need you need a boost to know that you can do it.
That's right.
So
Exactly. And that's,
yeah.
and that's where connection happens too, because, a lot of us get scarred by bad relationships or hard divorces or, traumas and things that happen. But when you
Hmm.
allowed, like you had to have been open enough to have him come into your world.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was wild. Like, so the moment I saw him, because he was at like a meeting thing, and I was working where their meeting space was, and I had to go talk to him because I worked there and was like the event manager, right? And so I needed to go ask. It actually wasn't him; it was his like boss was sitting next to him, and I needed to go ask him a question. And so I was walking to the table, and I literally saw my husband, and I was like, had not met him or seen him at this point, and I saw him, and I was like, I think I'm gonna be with that guy.
You wear many hats. And I know that about you because we have talked and we have, you've told me some of the things that you do. And I'm like, and I'm like, okay, okay, girl. So tell me a little bit about you. You do photography. You don't just do marketing. You do all these things.
Yeah. So I like came into photography kind of from a very different direction than most photographers. So I've always been a creative. I'm good at that stuff. It's definitely like part of me and makes sense. But I actually like I had a nice camera and I knew how to use it and it was for fun or whatever. But I did all the back ends of all these women's businesses. So like email marketing, social media, websites, all the things, blogging. And I can create copy and graphics all day long. But if you're not sending me images, like
Yeah.
that's a big piece of the puzzle.
Oh,
And I'm like, it
absolutely.
can literally like get your phone. Like, I don't even care. I will make do, right? And I'm not like getting anything. So finally I'm like, I don't know. I got a camera. I'm going to go do it. And this was like 8 years ago. So before like brand photography, I know there's always been like commercial photography, but it was right when like personal brand and brand photography started like kind of entering. I mean, it took me a hot minute to even find somebody to like follow to kind of like see how they were doing things.
Right, right.
So yeah, it was really cool. And then I was able to just go do that. And so then I became like full service. I was doing everything. At that point, I had even had hired a team because, I had multiple clients and I could not do all the things. So at that point, I had a team. We were doing it, loved it, and things were going great. And it all just kind of developed as it came. Everything just happened. I
Yeah.
made connections. I never even had a website. The one time I had a website, it was so like not even good. It's like what I do for people, but please don't look at mine. Because I didn't need to. Like it was just word of mouth. Like things were
Right.
great. And then, and I loved all of that. And I did that for years. And then about 3 years ago, my son, my oldest son, he has just, it's been hard. He's a great kid. He's wonderful. He just has some serious battles that he's had to fight in his life. And we've had to fight as a family. And that's okay. I mean, he's solid, like, love him, love all the things, but we have been through it. And it took us, we had to make a decision. And I'm talking an overnight decision, not a, this is going to improve all of our life, or my husband got a job offer or anything, like literally crisis mode decision. Um, and from the moment we decided we needed to move back to Amarillo, Texas, we'd never lived there. We had been in Florida raising our family for 9 years at this point. Uh, my husband turned in one application and 30 minutes later they were calling him and were like, hey, can we do this interview? So from the moment he put in an application till we were physically feet on the ground in Amarillo, Texas was 6 weeks. Like it was
Wow.
a whirlwind. Yes. So, and in order to do what we needed to do for him and the rest of the family, we changed three other children's lives overnight. I had a business that I had put blood, sweat, and tears in.
Yeah.
My husband loved his job. Like, we literally lived 5 minutes from Disney. Like, we had no intentions of going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it did. So yeah, so it was a lot. It was a lot. And so we moved to Amarillo, and it was crazy because Amarillo, Texas is not Orlando, Florida in any capacity. Um, but we were doing it. We were making it, and I had to rebuild. I had to rebuild my
Mhm.
business. And at that point, I was like, clearly we moved there for our kids and stuff, or our son. So we had a lot going on. So I was like, I need to take some steps back from what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna stick with brand photography. I'm gonna take the I'm not gonna have a team. I'm gonna take the marketing side out of things, and we're just going to do photography. So we ended up there for like a year and a half. And it was mostly hustle, right? Because I was building a business from the
Yeah.
ground up, knowing nobody,
Mhm.
and trying to pivot and everything. And it was good. I met amazing women, ones I still have connections with. We thought we would be there at least 5 years. So I actually opened a studio with a partner. Like, there was a lot of things that went down. And we were trying to build a life there. And unfortunately, like, we were miserable. Like, we did not love it there. We were not meant to live there. We needed something a little different. My son was doing good, and my husband ended up getting a job offer through his same company, like a promotion, but
Yeah.
it would take us to Dallas, Texas. And we were like, that sounds pretty good because I can hop in the car at any moment and go be with Hayden because he was going to stay in Amarillo and he's still there. Um,
Because
but
he's how old now?
the
How old's
rest,
Hayden now?
he's almost 19. Yeah.
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 So he's
Yeah.
been living on his own for a year. I actually just moved him into his own house last weekend. It's like, he's doing great. I'm so proud of him. He's a remarkable boy. And yeah, I'm proud of him. So he's definitely not letting statistics take hold of him.
Well, you know what though? This is such an inspiration for women because as a mom, we make choices for our children. We do. We because we need them to be in the best place that they can be. So we want to help them get there. But
Yeah.
you making a decision to leave like what you loved and where you were all good to a whole
Mhm.
like again back across the country again. So how did like you had to have had a moment of this is the way that things get to be. This is who I get to be during this. Like, how did you survive the transitions through all of these things as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter, as a friend, as a business owner? Like, how do you feel like you survived that? And who did you become during that? Because it's, you know what? We get stressed. We get all of these things play in the background of who we're choosing to be in life. And you're young and you have kicked ass, girl. Like you really have. And I mean, your story is unique to you, but there's parts of your story that other people can relate to. And I know
Yeah.
that we make choices. Like my oldest son also had, also had issues. He was an addict. And when he became an
Mhm.
addict, it changed our whole family dynamic.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we made a choice as a family and we had to make that choice together because if we weren't all on the same page, we weren't going to be able to help him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And now
And it's hard too.
yeah, it is
Oh, go
so
ahead.
hard. It is so, so hard
Yeah.
because now he's 8 or 9 years clean, maybe even,
Oh my gosh.
yes.
So
And
good.
he is just the most amazing human. He's always been the most amazing human.
Yeah.
But through that transition period of his and that really low point, I know what it did to me as a person. And I know how much it took from me because I had to be somebody that I didn't know. I didn't know how to be a tough love mom. I didn't know
Yeah.
how to be that
Yep.
person. I didn't. So
Oh my God. Okay. You said tough love mom. I think the hardest thing through my entire journey with my son, and with my son, it's taught it, and other things, it goes to that setting boundaries and like sticking to them.
yes, yes,
Setting boundaries as a mom when you are having to tough love and your boundaries, especially when the majority of the world, if someone has not lived with a child with addiction or mental health or personality disorder, and you have not lived that, you do not understand that, because to the outside world, sometimes it very much looks like we have given up on him. We
yes,
don't care
yes.
about
Yep,
him. We're assholes, like
yep,
very much. But
yep,
no, like the only reason he's doing as good as he is today and the rest of our family is continuing to thrive is because of the boundaries
yeah,
that we set because we
yeah,
did love him, because we
absolutely.
do love him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is the
Yeah.
truth. And I say
Yeah.
that because I say if that's my truth, that's your truth. I believe that that
Yeah.
is the only way through something is to go through it and to, but
Yeah.
I was blessed enough to have that support system of my family and my husband and my children.
Yes.
We all worked together in that, as did you. And, for some people listening that don't maybe have that support system, I want you to know that there
Yeah.
is help out there and there is support. And we are here to, if it can't be one of us, we are here to direct you in the right way or in
Oh
the
yeah.
way, because it's not easy. And, um, I think it takes a little piece of us, but once we can
Yeah.
discover and really align ourselves with who we get to be during the process, it just creates a space of we're coming from a different space. We're coming from a different space of love. We're coming from a
Yeah.
different space of strength. It's not just I have to be strong. I get to be strong at that point.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It'll definitely build some character, but then I don't know. I think honestly, it's made me a better mom, even with my other kids, and it healed parts of me that I didn't know setting boundaries like could.
Yeah.
And it's taught, yeah. So I've learned like a whole world of lifetime of lessons through everything
Yes.
with him. So
Yes. And
yeah.
that's just
Yeah.
beautiful. And that, so what I always like to say is through the easy stuff, being unstoppable is easy. It's when the shit hits the
Mhm.
fan. It's during that shit storm of life that's when the tests come. And when we can align ourselves with who we are, we can stand in it and find the power within because we know ourselves and we know what's possible.
Oh yeah.
When we aren't there, it's so hard. But that's when you know you're unstoppable is when even when those tough times come, because they do, lives.
Yeah.
But when those
Yeah.
tough times
Yeah.
come,
They're happening. They're gonna happen.
that's right.
They're coming.
That's right. So the strength
Yeah.
that comes from within us is unstoppable.
Yeah. And I always say, like, because everybody's heart is hard.
Yeah.
Whatever you're
Yeah.
living through is hard, and
Yeah.
you can't ever. I used to like find myself sometimes like sulking in my own misery,
Yeah. Yeah.
and thinking like, gosh, this is just so hard. Nobody understands or nobody
Yeah.
gets it. But like everybody has a hard in their life. It's
Mhm.
just going to be different. But whatever you've been given and you're having to work through, like that is hard. So I think that's even given me a whole new outlook on like other people and what they're going through,
Yeah.
because I have my hard is not a skill to say if anybody
Yeah.
else's hard is
Yeah.
hard. So yes, I think any women out there that's pushing through and doing whatever it takes in whatever season they're in, if it's a hard season, like is amazing
Yeah.
and strong.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Like what
yeah.
okay, what
Yeah.
advice if you could give someone listening right now a piece of advice from the life that you've lived, from the things that you've gone through
Mhm.
and overcome and some of the things that maybe you still hold on to because, right, we're always healing, we're always growing. But is there something that you
Yes.
would give advice to someone if they were listening right now to this conversation?
Gosh, I think that the piece of advice I would give is listen to yourself, listen to your gut, listen to your heart, and make choices that are best for you and whoever it may be directly impacting, whether that's a spouse or a child or something. But ultimately you. Um, and to breathe and take I think literally just take a beat. Because I know whenever things are spinning out and hard is happening, everything feels like a crisis. Everything feels like you have to make decisions in that moment, and that it's just so and it could be very crucial. It
Oh,
could be changing your life. It could
yeah.
be a life-changing decision. But just sleep on it. That's one thing I've really learned. I just do whatever I can to calm down, and I do not make decisions when my emotions are
Yeah.
out of control. That is probably the biggest thing I have learned. I used to be just a freaker outer, right? It's kind of the way I was raised. You can freak out over everything.
Hmm.
Everything you just freak out. Oh my gosh, we're chatting and it's crisis. And so I had to learn to regulate that, and I have. And now I'm like, gosh, is this what it feels like to be regulated? So if you can get to a point of regulation and you can learn to manage your emotions and be the one in control of your emotions, it will help you get through anything. Because first of all, you'll be able to think like level-headedly.
Hmm.
You'll be able to make rash decisions, and it just won't feel so chaotic when you're
Yeah.
going through it.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely. And
yeah,
I think
I
too
think
what
that
you
one's
said
good.
about, yeah,
And get a therapist and a friend.
and a coach.
Yeah. Yeah, a coach, therapist, friends, like those all. And a vacation. All of those benefit too.
No,
So,
but in
yeah.
all reality, it's so true what you said about it is about stopping and recognizing what's happening, taking a breath. Don't make rash
Yep.
decisions in when you're at the height of your emotions. Give yourself, I always say,
Yep.
give yourself that 24-hour rule. If something
Yes.
happens, and it's possible because not always is it possible, but when it is possible, if you
Mm.
can give yourself that 24-hour rule, it's really key to your alignment as well as your own mental health because we aren't strong. The strength isn't just, we're not meant to be super women. We're meant to be,
Yeah.
we're meant to feel our
Yeah.
feelings. We're meant to go through what we go through. But the point is that when we get to go through it, we get to ask for help. We get to ask for support
Yes.
and just
Yes.
and search it. I mean, or reach out to
Yeah.
someone because you're creating
Yeah.
now. So this business that you're creating now, because now that you're all situated, everything's kind of, you know, on this really good plane. So what are you
Yes.
what are you creating now, Abby? Because I know that we're gonna and by the way, everyone listening, we're going to have all of Abby's information in the show notes. And anyway, if you want to get a hold of her, if you want to speak to her, all of that'll be in the show notes. But what are you creating, my dear?
Okay, so all of that takes me really to where I am now, and I'm so excited because it's all coming to like fruition, and it's just like so good. So once we moved to Amarillo and then all the things, and then year and a half later we moved to Dallas. And oh, let me take it back really quick to get to where I got in Amarillo, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do marketing. I'm just going to do brand photography. I still was just, we were in the midst. It was a lot. And I was
Yeah.
like, maybe I'm just not going to do anything. Maybe I'm not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just going to throw in the towel. And I was burnout. It was not I was not in a good place. I was going through tons of healing and stuff myself. And I was like, I need something different. And so I was like, I'm going to book a boudoir model and I'm just going to do a model call. And I don't know what I'm doing other than one of my clients at one point was a boudoir model or a boudoir photographer. And so I know all the back end and marketing for it and stuff. I
Right.
did it. Yes. And I went and did this session and it was like life-giving. I was just like, wow. I thought I loved working with women in business. Like, whoa,
That's amazing.
working with women on a personal level, like, and relighting like those fires in them and stuff was amazing. So that's how I pivoted to boudoir photography. And I still do some brands, but I really, really like my heart and passion now is definitely in like the boudoir side of things. And so we moved to Dallas. That's where we're at now, North Dallas. And I was like, I'm going to do it. At this point, everything had always just kind of happened. My business just existed in how it came to me. And that was also causing me burnout. Now that I have decided that I love boudoir, still a little bit of branding, I rebranded and it's about to launch. By the time this plays, it may have launched. And I did things, I guess I still have been shooting boudoir, but I did it. I built everything. I have a website coming. I've got social media. I've got branding, like all the things. Like I did everything and I love it so much. And so that is where I'm at now. Now I have a real legit brand. I say that because I've always had one, but I'm like, I'm going to have a website now. When you ask me for my contact information, I will actually have that because I've never had it set up before.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah,
That is really cool.
Yeah. And I'm just out here shooting half naked women, helping them find all their confidence. Right? Sometimes fully naked women.
But isn't that a beautiful thing to be able to allow women? Like someone had said to me, you know, we all have a role to play in a healing journey for people. Some of us plant the seed, some of us get to watch the harvest, some of us get to watch the growth. And no matter where we are in that journey, I think bringing it all together and being able to, it doesn't matter what part of the journey you are on, with that person, it's giving something back to them to give them the power that they think that they don't have or the confidence that they think that they don't have. It's just showing them that. So you are, to me, the epitome of unstoppable. Even when you've been knocked down, you get back up. In the shitstorm of your life, you actually choose to not sit in it, but keep moving through it. And I think that's an inspiration for women listening to this podcast today. And I really appreciate your time and your being and your lifing and everything that you do. I really do. And I'm so happy that we got to meet in person. And I know that won't.
I know
we get to meet in person. I know that we will collaborate in many.
Oh, definitely not.
That's right. But thank you for being here.
Yeah. We both love to travel.
That's right. Somewhere. That's right. But thank you so much for being here and being you and being a bright light in this world full of chaos and confusion. I do appreciate you very much.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. This is so cool.
If you hear something in yourself, if you see something in yourself, or if you think that someone needs to hear this, share it with them. Let us help get this message out there that we can be unstoppable. And it isn't impossible. It's the most possible thing. And with women like Abby and the other women that I've had on this podcast, it just goes to show you that we are resilient. We do have the power and we can become unstoppable together. Thanks everyone for listening today and have yourselves a beautiful day. Thanks, Abby. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Art of Being Unstoppable. Remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and your power is limitless. If you love today's conversation, subscribe, share it with the women in your life, and leave a review to help more women discover their unstoppable selves. I'm Vicki McDougall, and I'll see you in the next episode, because your journey to unstoppable starts now.